Hello loves and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the new moon in Gemini that's happening May 30th on Monday. But before we get started, I just want to let you guys know I'm doing a little surprise natal chart special. So if you've been wanting to get a natal chart reading with me, this is your chance. You can use the code PEACE in all caps to get 40% off all natal chart readings, and it ends on Monday. So definitely take advantage of it because I usually don't put it that high, but I wanted to do something special since there's been a lot of healing, a lot of reflection, and I feel like you guys know I always say your natal chart is a map to your life and you should know what that energy is. You should know what it says. So I'm doing a special, so definitely take advantage of it. With that being said, also do not forget to get tickets to the workshop that's happening in June, which is all about healing the matriarch. It's going to be focused on ancestor work, specifically healing the matriarchal line. So there's going to be quite a bit of things. The link to all of the things will be down below in the description. With that being said, we're going to get started. So first we're starting with the planetary position. So the sun and the moon will be in Gemini, Mercury will be in Taurus in retrograde, Venus will be in Taurus, Mars will be in Aries, Jupiter will be in Aries, Saturn will be in Aquarius, Uranus will be in Taurus, Neptune will be in Pisces, and Pluto will be in Capricorn in retrograde. So there's definitely air, earth, fire, tiny bit of water in the chart right now. So for my water signs, we're like feeling a little bit like, you know, a fish out of water. And this is why. So first and foremost, we have a sun and moon conjunction because they're in the same sign as well. So there is an alignment between our ego and our emotional energy. This is a great time to let yourself be creative, focus on some goals. Gemini is a road opening sign. So this is a great time to like get clearer on your goals, not only for the summer, but for the rest of the year as well. Because again, this time is like a checkpoint, especially because after Gemini season, we move into the summertime, we move into Cancer season, more emotional, more focus on intuitive energies, and Cancer season. All the cardinal signs are the beginning of each like season period. Like, so it like Capricorn brings the winter, Aries brings the spring, Cancer brings the summer, and Libra brings the fall. So there is that focus on specifically what specifically the energy of the summertime and like pushing on through our goals through the summertime. The summertime is a very, very hot season. It's very focused on spending time outdoors, working with the temperature, working outside with nature. So this is a really good time to focus on some of the goals that are more exterior, like external. And looking at, you know, especially because Gemini is also very focused on liberation and being able to like do everything and go everywhere, very like liberated, even though again, Mercury is still in retrograde, don't forget that. But this is a great time to plan a trip, especially, you know, for after, you know, June, early June is when Mercury goes out of retrograde. So, you know, planning a trip, doing something with your friends, or getting creative, starting to write that thing that you should have been writing, or starting to work on that project that you should have been working on. Great time to do that, especially being intuitively guided to do that as well. Next, Mercury will be in a square with Saturn. There's definitely a lot of karma being hit from words that were said in the past. If you get caught up within Mercury retrograde, and you know, you get called out, or you know, you get put in a situation where it's like, no, but this is what you said before, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna have to kind of make peace with that. You're gonna have to acknowledge your words. You're gonna have to take ownership of them as well. It's definitely very layered. It's definitely very layered. Don't dismiss what's happening, but there are consequences for your words that are happening here. Because of this, some might feel a little bit ungrounded, because a square, again, it's when the planets are fighting. So Mercury, the planet of communication, Saturn, the planet of restriction, they're fighting it off. So there are certain aspects of, you know, words that were spoken that are not necessarily in alignment with, you know, maybe the way you want to live or the way that you feel, like truly feel. You might have, the truth will definitely be coming out. That's something definitely that's coming, especially with that Venus square Pluto. We're going to talk about it. And Mercury is in a trine with Pluto. We're going to talk about it in a second. But with Mercury in a square with Saturn, it is a time of consequence. Okay. So if you got caught up in the thing, get ready to forgive, get ready to let go, get ready to be like, well, you know what, let me not, you know, just sit in my ego and be like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. If you did something wrong, okay, this is, again, Mercury retrograde, y'all. Mercury retrograde is a time of healing. So this is a really important time to sort out through a lot of things. And some of those things, some of the issues could come from you, and you have to accept that maybe you did something wrong, or maybe you have to like bring something to someone and be like, hey, we need to talk about this. We need to have a conversation, because this is not how we're about to move forward. Like, maybe you need to do that, but especially because it's that element of restriction. It's like, enough is enough. This needs to be addressed right now, period. So with that being said, if it needs to happen, if an argument happens, if things start getting a little bit like tit for tat, there might be some friendships that are completely cut off. There might be some breakups as well. So go with the flow of things, and really try not to be super stubborn with the way that you're addressing certain communications. If you feel like in your heart of hearts you're in the right, and you know you didn't, you know, you weren't trying to, you know, then stick by your guns on that. But you should try to be open to healing the situation overall. And if you feel like you're the one that's stopping the situation from being healed, then you need to acknowledge that as well. Okay. Now Mercury's in a trine with Pluto, y'all. Mercury is in a trine with Pluto, y'all. Okay. The spiritual downloads that are going to come through this time are going to be redunculous. Okay. There's going to be a lot of mental breakthroughs. There's going to be a lot of transformation through communication. This is why there's going to be a lot of like back and forth communication wise. You're going to see things breaking down or breaking apart through communication. You're going to see how certain things are just like, there's misunderstandings. There's all of the little elements of Mercury retrograde, but because Mercury's in Taurus and retrograde right now, there's an extra like stubbornness that is added to that. And so listen, with Mercury in a trine with Pluto, it's gonna be some powerful downloads. It's gonna be some mentally powerful transformations, but it can lead, especially with the way that, you know, Mercury is navigating with Saturn. There could be consequences for your words, consequences for other people's words. You might have to, you know, let someone go. You might have to accept the reality of something that you don't want to accept. There are consequences. Just see it as that. There's consequences, and there's things that are not grounded enough. They're not solidifying, and because they're not grounded, certain things are getting removed and released. So be ready. Venus is also in a square with Pluto. Okay. It's a wonderful time for sex magic. I will say that. But this is definitely not a wonderful time for certain things, especially with the way the other planets are relating to each other. Venus in a square with Pluto, this can be very obsessive. This can be very like, if you know you have to let someone go, but you don't want to, but like you're fighting it off. Like this can be very like obsessive energy. This can be it can trigger a lot of like of the negative parts, the way that Pluto can be used in negative ways, like manipulation. It can bring light to narcissism. It can bring light to obsession. It can be a little bit like not so great. So again, some of the communications that are happening are going to be very revealing and are going to be very triggering. So I recommend y'all take it one step at a time and be very gentle with yourselves, but definitely do some sensuality magic. Okay, do some of that. Transmute the energy. If you are having a hard time processing certain things, just try to transmute the energy. Try to release some of the pent-up energy in other places, especially because Gemini is really great at just kind of being very open. So if you need to like step away and do your own thing to just kind of release or transmute some energy, do so. Please practice self-care during this time. Mars will also be in a conjunction to Jupiter. So again, great time for sensuality magic. Okay. It's a great time for that, to do some visualization. It's a great time for that, y'all. Mars in conjunction to Jupiter is definitely very quick. It's definitely, there's an aspect of speed with Jupiter, because Jupiter definitely expands and advances everything, and because, you know, both Mars and Jupiter are in Aries, it's going to happen very fast. So, and it's going to trigger the aspect of Aries energy that is very like, oh, you don't want to do this with me anymore? Okay, deuces. Bye. Why? Because like I've said before a million times, Aries is the sign that if you can't keep up with them, they will leave you alone. They will go on their own. They got to keep on their road, on their journey, because that's what they rule. So you can't expect them to be out here like playing the waiting game. Some of you are going to make decisions that are like, okay, you don't want to be grounded with me? Bye. I got to go. I got things to do. I got places to be. I got things to do. Okay. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of aspects, but there's definitely a mental health aspect to this that's going to be very, very, very focused. Make sure you're meditating. Make sure, like, what I would do, I would focus on sensuality magic. Okay, as far as the spell guide goes, some sensuality magic and some scripting as well, and some meditating. Okay, and if you're going to be doing some communication, just if the energy is pent up, really try to transmute it in other ways before you blow up on somebody. Okay, now for the cards, we have the Six of Pentacles, we have the Nine of Wands, and we have the Three of Swords. Okay, there's a lot of, when I tell you, this specific Monday is not going to be sunshine and rainbows, okay? But this is what I mean by there's a need to transmute the energy, because we're getting the Nine of Wands here, which is like very like, I'm traumatized. It's very like, I've been through so much, or I'm so angry and I'm so hurt and I'm so like needing to transmute that. Especially with the Six of Pentacles here. Some people are going to be getting called out for being a narcissist, for being half-assed, for being like, just not doing what they should be doing, and it's gonna be the ending of certain things. Okay, now the last two cards is the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So some of you will literally be ungrounding, releasing certain things. It might not feel so good. It might take a second to work through it, but some of you are literally leaving certain situations, are getting completely ripped out. But the good thing, bottom of the deck, you should be focusing on healing during this time. Bottom of the deck, we have the Star, which is the card of destiny. We have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Hermit. So the good thing is that some of you are going to throw yourselves into your healing right away, and that's what I would recommend if certain things go down. Okay, I recommend just throwing yourself into your healing, because this whole situation was meant to happen to put you back in your journey. It's been very distracting, and it needs to put you back in your journey, and it's going to happen fairly quickly because of that air energy. It's just going to be like, oh, next week you're taking a road trip and you're like, you moved on. So yeah, there's a lot going on with that. We also have be bold and make the first move and surrender to the divine. If you feel like, you know what, why aren't you bringing this up? I feel like we need to talk about this, and we haven't talked about this. Why aren't you bringing this up? You might just have to, or you're gonna internally just blow up on yourself. And surrender to the divine, because certain things are out of your control. Certain things you can't fix people, you can't change people, you can't change certain situations, you can't. And when that happens, you have to surrender. Surrender. Stop trying to force it. Stop trying to argue it. Stop trying to surrender. Okay, surrender. We also have lighthearted and laughter, and confusion and misunderstood. There's definitely, again, a lot of different issues. Certain people are going to have different viewpoints than you. Please try to come at these situations like as non-aggressively as you can, but it will get heated. I'm just going to let you know right now, especially because certain people are going to see things through their point of view, not yours, and you have to keep that in mind. Not everybody's going to feel the same way you feel about certain things, so keep that in mind. But try to just move towards that, like, and then go practice self-care, focus on making you happy, focus on, really doing something that is going to bring you some air, some breath of fresh air, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it, babes. Okay. Next we have the Pelican and we have the Macaw. Unselfishness will renew you, and express yourself colorfully. Okay, some of you might have to go, buy yourself something. Some of you might have to like go retail shopping. Some of you might just need to, like, again, self-care. Some of you might need to just be like, you know what, you've been holding me back too much, and I'm just gonna do me. Like, some of you need to really pick up on that energy. That's what I'm getting. Anyway, I hope that y'all got all the messages that you needed. Please enjoy, okay? Do what you need to do, but please practice self-care. Please, 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 please. And look, bottom of the deck, gentleness brings happiness. Like, please, 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 please. I will see y'all in the next video. Do not forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check the Patreon down below. I love you guys so much.